You know, the value of any currency is determined by the integrity of the economy, and obviously the integrity of the policymakers and so on, and the predictability of the policy environment, and and all that. So you can't solve a problem like liquidity by simply creating an instrument of exchange. That's not how you solve it. You solve the problem of liquidity by making sure that the economy is actually performing. And if the economy is performing, if you're having inflows of money into your economy, and you are creating value that other people want, and you have a thriving export industry and all of that, then you actually solve the problem of liquidity. In our country, we've had this tendency of thinking that we can manipulate things through monetary policy, and we know what happened in 2008 and 2009. We know the disaster that was visited, that visited our country as a result of thinking, we could actually just manipulate things monetarily. You can't do it. And right now, I know that since the introduction of bond notes, it has looked like the value has held. But I really believe that that's just temporary. What we need to solve in this country is the leadership problem. If we solve the leadership problem and people make common sense economic and financial decisions, then that translates into a viable currency and exchange instruments. If we actually restart our economy and we are thriving again, and we are doing those things that create jobs, invite companies into this place and so on, then everybody can trust our economy, including our trading partners and so on. So, bond notes are just another attempt again to manipulate a situation which really needs much more than that. That I am absolutely convinced of is that you start with making sure that you have the kind of leadership that inspires the confidence of everybody in Zimbabwe and people outside. People don't come into a country to invest in it simply because they are desperate, they don't have options. We are not the only destination for investment, potential destination for investment. There are other environments which are much more welcoming, where the legal system is much more predictable, where you have the protection of property rights, where you have consistent policy making, not the Minister of Finance announces something one day and another minister comes and actually contradicts it, and people don't even know. So now what is really the policy of the government? That has a lot to do with leadership. You have to have a leadership that understands even the impact of their actions on the economy. Economies go south. Well, there may be some other external factors that impact an economy. I don't want to blame everything on leadership. But really, in our case, at least in our case, what I truly believe is that our economy went south because of bad leadership. So to rebuild our economy, you start right there. You start by making sure that you have the right leaders who also understand how the world works, who also understand that people, in order to invest in your country, make economic decisions. They actually they want to come in here and invest and actually make money, and you have to actually make it possible for people to make money. The other thing is that, this is not just about foreign investment, by the way. This is also about enabling Zimbabweans to start small businesses and to succeed. And right now, our environment is so forbidding. Somebody starts a business, and in fact, that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are waking up, because there were some people who were able to make money from arbitration and so on. When things were really bad, they made money from that. And then they said, okay, now that I've got this little bit of capital, let me invest in a small business. Well, in short order, all that money, all that capital that you invested disappears because one, you can't get anything done. The taxation regime is so high, and at every point, if you start a business, let's say, for instance, in fuel distribution, the license fees for that just skyrockets and so on, and with no concern for whether this actually affects the viability of the business. So you have electricity problems, you know, the problems in the supply chain. You can't get inputs and all of that, and you can't import things because there's no money for you to do that. You know, it's all those things. So we have to get to a point where the leaders truly understand that an economy is built by creating an enabling environment for businesses, for small businesses to start and to actually be sustainable. For those who come to invest in the country to actually have succeeding businesses, thriving businesses, because that is really the basis of a sound economy. That we have a huge external debt, and